Hello and welcome to Battle Magic update number 9. It's been quite an exciting past few days. Let's get you started. First thing, I fixed a little bug where you, clicking with the tutorial, basically you would click it and it wouldn't load into the actual game. The reason for this bug was that there was basically a threading issue where the main I'm not going to bore you guys. Basically, the bug is fixed and now you can click it and click it one time and it will go right into the game. See? Like I promised. And let's see, on top of that, I did some, most of the work this past few days has been on the engine, or behind the scenes, as it were. So it's nothing I can really show off, unfortunately, but it's been a lot of work nonetheless. To be precise, I worked on beneficial magic affecting only allies, so that way if you cast like heal, it'll only select you. And if you happen to select somehow like an enemy, like with some other spells like Overheal, which has like a big area of effect, like this big purple thing. There's no like good or bad single target because it'll just kind of affect everybody inside this range. And so basically what the program does, it picks up every single object inside of this range here, and then goes through saying like, alright, I'm going to apply this effect to you. And I just added the functionality for all of that on top of it, checking to see if the caster is out as a friendly, and if they are, make sure that the target is a friendly, for friendly based spells. So that way you can cast something like Quaswex Exhort, which does damaging and healing in sort of a range similar to this. And so that way all the friendlies selected inside the target will get healed, all the enemies inside the target will take damage, and not the other way around or any combination thereof. That's what I spent quite a bit of time doing. I'm just getting ready for enemies to be added into the game. I'm just about there right now. It started with me programming this actually a region right here, which is the Quas Rem, or Overheal. It basically buffs all of the friendly targets in the area over the maximum of 100 health. And I had to program this because it was the first area spell that I came across, and not only that, it changes the area size changes depending on your level of Rem. So as you can see, it's kind of small right now. If we level up our Rem right now, it just jumped up almost twice this. Actually, it is twice the radius. So it's a huge increase in area. And so if we look at it now it's 150 radius, now it's 225 radius, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger until that's the maximum size right there, which is a huge size, and it's kind of fun. Right now, I don't think any effects are applied yet. That still needs to be fixed or done, to be precise. But let's get in there. And as I mentioned, talking about adding enemies, and lo and behold, we have some right here. Yep, this is exactly what I had in mind. Now, they are just little visual placeholders, honestly. They actually, in programming code, have health and a region kind of bounding so I could check for collisions and things. I just haven't programmed that in yet. That obviously needs to get done sooner rather than, well, yeah, I guess it'll be up on the list for this Friday. As well as, they can't take damage. There's no damaging spells actually even in the game yet. And nor do they attack the player, so there's actually very little reason to heal, and hopefully I will get rid of that constantly depleting health bar, because that's not going to be part of the game. Your health is actually going to be steady, if not increasing extremely slowly over the course of the game, naturally on its own, not decreasing. The decreasing thing was just to test out these healing spells and make sure that they're all working, and they are now. I know they are, so I don't need to test them as much. Now I just need to get an enemy in there and have them attack the player and things of that nature. Aside from that, I still kind of, I guess I should mention that these enemies are targetable as well. I already tried it, so that way when I cast this Quas Rem or Overheal spell, it actually does pick up these two enemies right here as well as the player, but then the spell only gets applied to the player because it's the only friendly and in the region selected. The enemies don't get anything. This will really enable me to easily do spells like damage and heal, for instance, which would look really similar to look really similar to this when you're casting it, but it would only damage the enemies and only heal the friendly players. And I'm excited about that. Actually, I'll heal myself some mana right now, like that. Anywho, so some other bugs I have to work through. There's, well, I forgot what bug I was going to mention. I had some bug in mind. So I see that the enemies are drawing on top of the player menu. That's not very cool looking. I'll have to change that so that doesn't do that. It'll draw behind the menu. Does it draw? That draws even over the UI. That's not cool. Okay, well, that's one bug I'll have changed by Friday. Oh yeah, I also want to mention that I got my first user feedback I just noticed last week, and it was a suggestion to have the player constantly move to where the mouse is pointed as long as the right mouse button is held down. And naturally, like, you would just click it and the player moves there, which is the way it's always been. But now it's set up where if you hold down the right mouse button, the player just keeps constantly moving to the mouse, non-stop. So you can actually just, if you want to keep moving right constantly, just kind of keep it held down, and you will keep moving right and not stop at all until you decide to change the destination, or you finally reach that destination, like that. Anywho, that's in there now. I really appreciate that feedback. It's really cool to get to know people are actually trying the game, and I'm not just talking to myself in my own room right now. Oh my goodness. Anyway, for Friday's goals, I want to get more spells finished. I'm going to finish up Overheal, this little thing here. Then I'll be starting to work on Wex a little bit. I don't know, probably start with Status Cleanse. I don't know. There's no statuses to test that with. Maybe Stuns, or maybe I'll just jump right over to Exhort, so I can test some damage spells to see, start killing some of these enemies here, and actually getting experience, and then kind of following the game flow from there and seeing what needs to be worked on from there. On top of that, I'd like to see some visual effects for spells. Right now, the only real visual effect is for healing, and even still, I've thought of a bug that would happen, which is where the healing effect will appear no matter who casts the heal spell. It just kind of globally applies it to every screen. Mind you, there's only one screen right now, just that it's a single player game, but if this were to be a multiplayer game, it would get this flashing green would get applied to every single screen, and that's not really cool. So I will have to change that, so that way only the player who got healed gets that flash of green, and make sure, for other things, like if somebody else targets you with a heal, you get that same flash of green. So I don't know, just kind of work on some visual effects, especially for like heal over time. It still doesn't have anything. Restore mana, it's the same problem as heal, and overheal doesn't actually show or do anything right now. So those are two big goals: working on some spells, probably damage spells next, and finishing up some visual effects for the quas spells. And as a bonus point, if I feel up to it, I want to add the sound and music engine. Right now there's actually no technology or programming in my engine to handle sound or music of any kind. So although I don't have any music lined up yet, I was hoping to look into making some chiptune music, or having somebody make some for me, something similar to that. It kind of fits the style of the themes. They're very sort of pixelated. It's a very chip-tuned game. That's just that makes sense to me, and I think that just all around will work out. So if I manage to, I know how to do it. It's just a matter of getting in there and working with it the way I want to work with it. Hopefully that will get done as well. Anywho, that's all I have to say for this update. Thank you very much for watching. You can follow me on Twitter or my blog, which will be posted in the description. And I won't have a new version to playtest this week because there's not really much to playtest. But next week, by next Friday, I'll have a new version uploaded to the website for sure, because I like to have one at least once a week. It just seems like fun. Just seems like fun to have something constantly up and available for other people to play test, since after all, it's how I got my first feedback and how I Community-driven games are generally better games. Anyway, thank you very much.